everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Steve Baxi.
And it's time for more Powerpuff Month. Today, Steve and I are going to review another of my favorite episodes that made it on my top 10 list on Superhero Rewind. Way back in the day, all those years ago, Steve.
Yeah, this was probably within your first couple of years, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Today we're going to talk about Super Zeros. And this is the parody of a lot of stuff in superhero comics and making fun of timely stuff, especially Spawn. I almost reviewed this in Spawn year.
Oh, interesting.
And I decided not to actually do anything that wasn't really a Spawn thing, so I didn't. So this will be the first time that I've talked about it at length outside of the little chunks in that rewind. If you want to watch it with us, if you've got the DVDs or if you want to go to Netflix, this is the second half of an episode that also included Jewel of the Nile. So go to the middle of that section and get it right before the title pops up on Netflix. My timestamp right now is 11:52, so that gives you the precise timestamp. If you want to also, if you would prefer to just listen to this, Steve and I will try to provide some context and let you know what exactly we're talking about. Steve, are you ready to get started?
I'm all set.
And once again, we don't get to watch the intro.
No, we don't. Oh well, that's a shame.
Well, one of these times we'll get one at the start, and then we'll actually get to do the intro. Dun 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 dun. Okay, here we go. Everybody, please press play right now.
This is another one that is constantly on television, and I don't care because it's hilarious.
Never gets it. Now I don't remember this one popping up all that much. This is one of the later ones that I saw and thought it was genius. Do you ever have that with things where there'll be one that's out for a long time and then you finally see it and you like it more because you didn't know it existed?
That's true, yeah. My
last one of regret, trademark
I love that
symbol.
Wonder Woman's parody has the mortality or morality mobile.
Yeah, and the lasso of morality has a trademark symbol next to it.
Of course it does.
Okay, so if you go back and pause it, all I want to do right now is talk about all these panels because they're load.
It's like McFarlane.
They are parodying specific panels from the first issue of Spawn. It says Old McDonald's Angry Spore. Instead of Todd McFarlane, it's Old McDonald.
I think it's interesting that they went for Spawn, they went for Wonder Woman / Batman because of the whole car thing, and then they went for like Kodomoku. Like that's really a bizarre and out there choice.
Yeah, and I feel like the majority of kids this would have been kind of lost on.
I don't think, specifically speaking for my age group, I don't think so because this would have been at the time where anime was a big boom.
Anime, yes. Manga?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, Kodomoku it is not necessarily manga. It is just children's animation as well.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, does the humor, in parodying that translate from making fun of it in panels to making fun of if you'd only seen animes? Maybe?
Kind of, not really. It's weird. The one joke that they missed, I think they should have done, is that Bubbles should have read her book in the opposite direction.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
The
only manga I've ever read that's actually appropriately right to left like a manga, although The Professors is great.
Oh, yeah, The Professors is fantastic.
Going right to left was actually the Spawn manga.
Oh, I forgot you did that for Spawn here.
Yeah, and it goes right to left. That was a lot of fun. It's one of the few Spawn things I like a lot.
So, why is he PhD wizard? What does that mean?
PhD wizard.
There's a running gag in the Looney Tunes show where Daffy Duck says that he is a wizard, and he's got wizard business cards.
I love that because there are comic strips like that, of course, that are actually just soap operas for adults. Well, soap opera. That's redundant. You know what I mean?
Well, they specifically had a lot of those after World War II.
Yeah.
When they didn't have as many superheroes, you had more of the horror comics and the EC stuff.
This was always one of the more memorable monsters for me because it has a sideways mouth.
It has a sideways mouth, and it's, I think, the first one to have like a full-on conversation with the girls.
Yeah. Which develops this this thing that kind of becomes a little bit of a mythology thing.
That's true. Yeah, the Monster Island
Monster
stuff's
Isle.
really interesting. And
Yeah,
also,
she
I
goes
remember
to
this.
How does she know how to go to hell?
Also, Bubbles, I guess, under the bed of Bubbles' room is indeed magical.
Yeah, Bubbles is able to basically just go to Narnia by going under her bed. Okay.
Okay, I don't know about you, but if a bird picked me up by my hair, I would be terrified. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Doesn't
Bubbles
matter the
trusts
context,
everything
it's scary.
that looks like she colored it in a coloring book.
I was gonna say, part of the reason this monster's memorable for me is that his name is Steve.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's Steve, and I love that these monsters are just like guys.
Yep.
If we didn't have that, I would have thought that this was a mutated Gumby.
That's true.
Mutated. Once again, like I mentioned in another commentary previously, this is one of these things I love in the show is wasting time.
Yep. Just staring at the door. I always really like the fact that in the show, it doesn't matter how much damage the city goes through, it's always fixed, and even if it's not, the monster will come back and just tear it up anyway.
And it always looks different.
It does always look different. It's hilarious.
Oh, and now it's in black and white.
Oh yeah,
Why is it in black and white now?
Some of the earlier seasons were weirdly inconsistent about the way Townsville looks, but it was more of just like you never got a sense of what the style of the show was aside from the Powerpuff Girls themselves.
So, Blossom is Wonder Woman, but she's also Captain America.
She's Wonder Woman, she's Captain America with a little bit of Batman thrown in.
Because she's got a car.
Yes.
Is
that looks like a Batmobile.
This is one of those lesson episodes. The new show, they're all that way so far.
I imagine they'll fix that. But, a touch right before the scene we're watching right now, they did relabel the top of their beds with their new names.
Yeah, I never noticed that until this watch.
I always loved that.
And like even before you said it, I was like, hey, wait a minute, I never noticed that.
I always loved that. I also like Liberty Bell's costume. Like, I think that could be a comic book character.
I actually think that this message is legitimately a good one for kids, and that it plays okay, and that it doesn't seem like they're just making fun of messages in shows. Like, I think it's actually, like, as funny as this episode is, Food Incorporated. I think as funny as this is, it's legitimately a well played, well learned lesson.
Well, one of the interesting things about Powerpuff Girls specifically is that in the mid 90s we had a lot of shows like Rem and Stimpy and Animaniacs and Freakazoid and Pinky and the Brain that made fun of the idea of having morals in cartoons. Like, that was the whole point of having the Wheel of Morality in Animaniacs.
Yes.
So there was a long period where that just wasn't happening, and Powerpuff Girls brought it back.
It's not the only thing. I think some of the other Cartoon Network shows tended to do that. I think Dexter had it too.
That's true, but I think Powerpuff Girls was more about that than even Dexter.
Well,
like, Dexter
it came naturally because it's a superhero show, and so it's about what is heroism, and you know, it deals with responsibility with the collateral damage stuff, which it does all the time. I'm not bringing that up just because of superhero movies lately that we've talked about is not handling that right. Powerpuff Girls has always been about making fun of the collateral damage thing.
That's true.
And you have that a little bit even here with you know, they could have stopped the monster already. How much property damage has it caused while they're selfishly playing make-believe and playing dress-up?
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
And they're also, of course, and this is kind of the whole point, is that they're trying to be these way cool superheroes that are much lamer than what they actually are.
Yeah, I mean, it plays on the downtime of those characters, how this would actually work. Like, if Batman only comes out at night, he's just sitting there waiting for the sun to go down like Mange is right now.
Or Spawn. Spawn's not going to go out during the day.
Also, Blossom is in kindergarten and she's driving a car.
That's a really
That's always bugged me.
They should have had her get pulled over by a cop. That would have been even better.
How does she reach the pedals?
Where did she get that car? I love how you're like, this is how it would actually work. I'm like, no, it's not. Buttercup goes to hell.
Why does the mayor have Jigglypuff on his watch?
Jigglypuff on his watch. The mayor hung out with Tony Stark in Iron Man 3.
Of course he did. Of course he did. This is a fun episode.
How do you know they're trying to be better heroes? Like, where did you hear that?
The monster has exactly the same thing when he shows up at the end. That always kind of bugged me about this, but this is legitimately a fun episode. But there's also lots of fun, heavy stuff to talk about with superheroing, and that's part of why Powerpuff Girls is always fun to go back to. I was really glad when they added it to Netflix.
There is some pretty poignant satire in the show.
Yeah, every shot with Mange is just hilarious. The most more dramatic comic book thing ever, because Batman and Spawn do this all the time.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and I just couldn't even believe they went there in making fun of Spawn. And this was '99, so like 99 or 2000. So like Spawn was well out of the public eye by this point. Like like people remembered it as being a really big deal a couple of years ago, but no one cares now.
Yeah, that's true. Then if this is the 90s, or even if it's not, I love that it's making fun of 90s isms, because so much of Powerpuff Girls action sequences have blank backgrounds. Like right now with Bubbles in the yellow. Mm-hmm. That was the thing Mark Bagley used to do a lot. That always annoyed me, with the yellow backgrounds.
Well, and I made fun of it a lot in Venom Lethal Protector with all the orange backgrounds.
I've never read that.
Okay, so my name is Steve Baxi, and I'm a monster. And I come from Monster Isle, and for some reason, I'm standing in front of a black and white city right now, even though it was color a couple minutes ago.
There is an episode where the entire city does turn black and white because of a clown.
Yes, but there was a reason for it. Now, I'm not saying this is a problem. They're clearly doing this intentionally.
That's true.
And I guess the idea is... I love that this is done in, like, in 1950s footage from, like, a reel-to-reel projector. That's pretty funny.
They do that a lot. There's another episode where like two retired superheroes come out. There were Captain America and Bucky parody, and they've got like a World War II film reel.
But yeah, I guess we do this like bleak black and white background thing because like the city should be fine, but it's all messed up because it's their fault.
Yeah. And
also just aesthetically the contrast of the black and white with them being as colorful as they are. And they're trying to be more colorful in a way, both figuratively and literally, but they're colorful enough as it is.
That's something they really play on later when we get to the Citiesville episode. Mm-hmm. Which is just literally the most realistic thing you could do and throw the Powerpuff Girls in.
I love that. The town of Citiesville, and it's enormous.
It's hilarious. Them destroying the bridge and the whole mayor crying over the fact that they commute.
Yeah, and then those people all look a little bit more like real people, just in like their dimensions and how they're drawn.
Yep.
Like they basically go to Metropolis and it doesn't turn out well. Everybody, thanks as always for listening. We sure appreciate it. We're going to have lots more Powerpuff content for you here on the channel coming your way very shortly. Steve, thanks for joining me for another commentary.
Thanks for having me, Cap. These are always fun.
We'll see you again next time. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Steve Baxi.